I just wanted to make a scary movie. You know, we really, when we did this film, we kept getting back to the folktale, the fairy tale that is Swan Lake, and we just tried to build a story out of what we thought Tchaikovsky was thinking about when he put together the ballet in the 19th century. But we wanted to turn it into a movie, and one of the themes we kept running into in the ballet world was this idea of ambition and this temporary fame that these dancers seem to get. I mean, more than any other world or any other business, it seems like this need to replace and keep youth flourishing is more extreme in the ballet world than anywhere else. And so we just decided to really run with those themes because we felt they really applied to our larger world outside of the ballet.
When Darren and I first started talking about the film early on in pre-production, we didn't. There were certain things that he wanted to do creatively right off the bat. One was he wanted to shoot in 16mm, and the other was he wanted to replicate a handheld feel similar to The Wrestler. And but having those parameters, the how of it really was trying to create some kind of in more discussions, some kind of natural environment, a naturalistic environment that sort of spoke to the language of The Wrestler, but could translate into the world of Nina Sayers, the lead character in this film, and to the world of ballet. So it was the nuts and bolts of it was really about how am I going to take this cinematic language of handheld and 16mm and not only pay true to what Darren's desire of this film would be as an accompaniment film to The Wrestler in some way, shape, or form, but also how do I make sure it does honor to the subject matter that we had to deal with, which was obviously the world of ballet and sort of struggling dancer.
To jest ujęcie powtarzające się w filmie. Oglądamy Ninę z tyłu i ten jej kok jak na zbliżeniu, kiedy ona idzie, najpierw w jednej scenie, później kiedy odwiedza Beth w szpitalu. Widzimy to w ten sposób również i nagle kamera odwraca się i widzimy jej twarz. Pytanie, jak to zostało uzgodnione pomiędzy operatorem i reżyserem, czy to jest kwestia intuicji, czy jakichś dłuższych, wcześniejszych dyskusji i jak w ogóle ma się to do ich wspólnej twórczej pracy.
Every film that Darren and I have done together from film school on, if you look at a shot like the one you're speaking about, it's every frame that you see in a Darren film, at least that I've worked on, is born out of a subjectivity, and it's about the notion of being connected to the main character, or the character that we're supposed to be connected with. So when you see a shot that's directly in front and center, following leading person, and focus on that person's face, what's going on emotionally when the person is traveling from point A to point B, that's the point of the shot. If the shot behind is really considerably is a point of view essentially, and also speaks to subjectivity. So if I walked into any movie that he was about to do, I would have an idea where the camera would go based on similar language of subjectivity. And I think that goes, part and part with sort of a shorthand.
Well, I like the way film looks, and I like the ease of 16 is, you can shoot for longer, for cheaper. And now that you're not doing these optical blow-ups and you're going straight through a DI, you're saving a generation of resolution. So, we projected the other week at the Chinese Men, which is a huge theater in LA, and we were both excited that pretty much held up pretty well. I also think the 35 stocks have, in general, they feel like they've been really developed way too much, so that you don't even know what you're watching anymore. You don't feel any essence of the film. And for me, you don't ever get an audience going home saying, "Man, that film was too grainy." I don't think audiences notice it. And if anything, it gives a nice, gentle stylization to the film and a uniform feel to it. So that's some of the reasons I really enjoyed it. And it's very reasonable to do it. It saves a lot of money. And on these low budget films, which is, a big consideration.
I mean, the palette, again, every time we work on a film together, the palette is one of the initial discussions. And on this film, I'm trying to remember, but I don't exactly know how we came up with the exact palette, but we know.
We started with the, black and white was going to be a clear part of it, black, white, and gray, because of the black and white swan. And then the first color we came to was pink, which is obvious because ballet is pink. It also happens to be the color of young girls, which actually worked really well because it lined up the world of ballet being, the world that's controlling Nina. And then we were kind of looking for an opposite of that, and kind of, I guess, color-wise, green. This forest green. Green's the natural way to the opposite there. And it also works with, Swan Lake and the forest and the beast, the Rothbard beast. So that's kind of where we started, and then we built everything else out of that. That just comes out of ideas and thinking about the thematics of the film, and then trying to help the thematics by pushing a certain color palette.
Well, I think when you don't have to watch Repulsion to have to read the script and have that be an influence on the film. I mean, we never even talked about Repulsion just because we've probably seen it too many times. But as far as Kieslowski, interestingly enough, I live in L.A., Darren was in New York, and when we were first talking about the film before I started prep, I would send him images, he'd send me some. He'd send me films, I'd send him pictures, and I took a series of pictures from The Double Life of Veronique. And that film for me was a clear influence. I don't know if it shows or not, but it was an absolute influence to me and inspiration, trying to create an atmosphere for this film. I guess emotionally, it spoke to a kind of atmosphere that this particular character was going through, and I just drew some similarities to that. Kieslowski's always, his other films are always the first things I look at when I'm about to start something, just because they're so beautiful and they're all different cinematographers, so it says something. So, I don't know what to say, but I'll watch him again next time we start a film.